Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, returning subscribers, and people wondering where I've been for the last 4 months, welcome to Sugary Spire. So, have you ever heard of a game called Pizza Tower? I'm sure this channel hasn't, but pretty much Pizza Tower is a very simple but fun platforming game, heavily inspired from Wario Land 4, which manages to not only be the best Wario Land we've gotten in years, but also the best Sonic game we've gotten in years. Sugary Spire, as it is now, is a fan game made based around Pizza Tower, which, instead of being all pizza themed and, you know, generally having a very MS Paint styled art style, Sugary Spire goes for something incredibly similar, however opts to go for a more sweet approach to it, if you get what I mean. Now, I know what you're thinking. Mountain, shouldn't you have played Pizza Tower first before just dumping this random fan game onto our feeds? And where's literally any of the other stuff you started? Well, for the record... So yeah, with all that considered, I'm ready to get started on Sugary Spire. If you guys ever want me to check out the actual Pizza Tower or some of the other stuff that I've been doing with it, because I've been getting into Pizza Towers and stuff like that in my spare time in between an entire semester of college, so if any of you guys are interested in that, be sure to let me know in the comment section. And there you go, that's the entire intro of the game, yep. Anyways, here we've got our little playable character, Pete Cell, a AU-swapped version of Peppino and the Noise. If you're familiar with them, they basically have sort of a straight man, chaotic, evil type relationship, or I suppose... Nah, Noise is probably somewhere chaotic neutral. I'm pretty sure his mere existence is just pissing off Peppino in any way possible. So naturally, Pete Cell is a humble, soon-to-be startup candy shop owner who is just looking to get some extra business when all of a sudden this tower spawns in, and now, obviously, he's gonna go raid it. But the lore will come later because unfortunately the game is still in development. So for now, let's just go ahead and start off. Look at that, there's free ice cream, let's go for it! And welcome to the tutorial level, psych. Anyway, starting off, we have our basic controls, which is obviously left, right to move. You press the Z button to jump, and then if you want to grab something, you just press the X button. And also, you collect these little treats for candy, and obviously the more that you collect, the better the rank that you get once you've completed a stage. We'll get into completing a stage in a bit. If you hold the shift button, you can actually have Pete Cell get on his motorcycle, or, well, I guess it's more of a... What is that, a bike? Scooter, it's a scooter, damn. You can tell I don't go outside much. Anyways, regardless of this, moving on, we're gonna go and get a short tutorial section of grabbing. The game's gonna tell us to jump here. I don't know why they gave you the thing of the trike. I keep calling it a trike, I don't know. If you're in the air and you press down, you can perform a little ground pound with the Noise's classic stomping machine that was used in the boss fight. I'm sure it probably came up in the comic too, but some other things that you can do is that if you press C, you do a little taunt. This is amazing, and I love this. I'll get into some of the other functions of the taunt later, but basically you can actually use the taunt as a parry if you run into an enemy and then right before they hit you, you taunt. However, the main bread and butter of this game is going to be the sprint, and this is kind of why I want to go over it for a second. The longer that you hold sprint, the faster you will go, and this becomes really important later in the game because, as you can see, there's 3 tiers of speed to it. The first speed is the normal speed, which doesn't do anything. The second tier is when you start leaving after images behind you. The third tier is when there's a sort of yellow glow around you, and this yellow glow is very important because it lets you break, and we'll see this in a second, metallic blocks. It also lets you instantly kill any enemy that comes near you. There's also a 4th tier of speed that we're not really going to see because, unfortunately, it requires that you go very fast for a much longer period of time, called Tier 4. And Tier 4 is more or less the same thing, but you also go really fast and it's much harder to control. You can also crouch while you're going really fast. Additionally, if you hold up while you are going at a Tier 3 or higher speed, you can crouch to do this, let go of up, and then you will spring into the air. Now, in Pizza Tower, you had the ability to change which direction you were going by pressing X in a certain direction and basically grabbing out of it to dash. You can't really do that. I mean, you can, but it's a little bit different. Instead, you have to press shift to get out of it if you want to be able to get out of a super jump after launching yourself. It's a little bit more complex, and I'm not sure if they've changed it in any update, but I'm sure that it will definitely come up sooner or later. Anyways, and here we have one of the more confusing add-ons. I'm gonna be real here. This is the crouch jump. The issue with the crouch jump is you can't really do it in any other stage. Like, for example, if I were to do Tier 3, you can't crouch jump at any other tier, making this, like, it's literally something that you can only do when you're going slow, which, yes, it's very convenient if it's your first time going through it. However, this is a tech that becomes much less useful as you get better at the game, simply because, like, you don't need it you can't use it at any other speed tier, and in a game like this where speed is very important to, especially understanding the layout and all of that, because trust me, speed is very important in this game. We'll see why in a second, but yeah, it's a little bit confusing to have something that's restricted to only your slowest speed, which I suppose would help with platforming challenges, but I don't know, it's something that works. One really convenient thing that Pizzel does have over Peppino is that Pizzel can do a little trick jump to sort of instantly get to tier 2 and basically tier 3. What you want to do is press X to dash, or well, they call it a dash, but it's actually grab. What you want to do is grab and then immediately press the jump button, and you will go into an instant tier 3, or basically instant tier 3. This is very convenient and in some cases actually necessary for getting out of certain areas that perhaps weren't giving the best planning. In fact, let me show you how convenient it is. Oh, okay, well, like that, basically. Like I said, it's not instant, but this is quite a good method of getting to instant tier 3. Another option that Pizzel has is that if you press X twice, you will go into a little roll. And the thing that's interesting about this roll is that not only does it kill every enemy in your path, you can actually stop it after a certain point in time, and it will also put you into a tier 2 speed, very similar to your jump flip like that. Anyways, here we have the final room, which is Sugar Rush. We've already been taught the sort of ground pound mechanic that we need. One interesting quirk about Pizzel is that at tier 2 in Pizza Tower, you used to be able to climb up walls. Pizzel needs to be at tier 3 in order to climb up walls, and even then, this is only temporary, as Pizzel cannot climb up walls forever. In fact, attempting to grab onto a wall with Pizzel will just result in him getting knocked back. So if you want to be able to climb a wall, you gotta constantly wall jump, which is a very interesting addition, and honestly, if there are any complaints, realize that this was a demo posted a pretty decent chunk of time ago, and that obviously a lot of changes have been made. Now here comes the important bit. This is a gummy bear. Or, well, a giant gummy bear, more or less. I won't be singing the song. Pretty much, once you kill it, it'll activate something called Sugar Rush. This functions very similarly to Pizza Time in Pizza Tower. Basically, once you kill it, all of the gummy blocks, I assume that's what they're called now, will invert whatever shape they are, so if they're transparent, they will become solid, and if they're solid, they'll become transparent. And then you are forced to make your way all the way back to the beginning of the level in a certain amount of time, otherwise you will get insta-killed by something. Or, well, not insta-killed, the game's kind enough to give you a couple seconds of alleviation. And yeah, certain enemies will even become active. The entire level layout will change. In fact, some areas will actually add on new places you couldn't get to normally just to throw you off. And, you know, it's very fun. Very much gets my Pizza Tower senses a tingling. And honestly, like, Pizza Tower in and of itself is a very fun game. And this fan game has done a tremendous job of scratching that itch of just, man, what do I do after this? I have 80 hours sunk into Pizza Tower and I still need more. Anyways, here we have the first level, Entryway. I know that this isn't the actual name of the level, but it's the one that we have now, so I'm going with it. To start off, here we have one of the first enemies. These basically replaces the cheese slimes of the original Pizza Tower, and as you can see, we also have live Pizzel reaction in the corner, once again mimicking some of the greatest aspects of Pizza Tower, mainly being its presentation. Now, because the overall gameplay of Pizza Tower kind of encourages that you go fast, I'm going to take this first level a little bit slow, mostly just so that you can appreciate some of the magnificent backgrounds that this game has to offer, because look at how much detail is in this. Like, legitimately, this is some of the coolest stuff in the game. Unfortunately, things are kind of moving so fast that you kind of just have to take it one step at a time. However, these little treats that we have following behind us basically replace the toppings of Pizza Tower. There's 5 in every level, collect them all, and presumably you'll need to collect a certain amount of them in order to advance to further floors of the tower. However, for now, they more or less just function as extra collectibles. Oh, and by the way, did I mention the music? Yeah, let me give you just a bit of a second to appreciate the amazing music that this game has to offer, because legitimately, this is some of the coolest stuff that you'll ever hear. The soundtrack is killer in this game. These secret rooms are incredibly important to the game, and that they serve for being able to 100% things, as well as giving you a lot of extra points, which can obviously go towards your final rank. There are 3 ranks starting at D and then going all the way up to S. Pizza Tower had a P rank, and I do know that this game does eventually plan to add P ranks to their game. However, unfortunately, this demo only goes up to S, so we'll be focusing on getting an S rank for now. But considering Pizza Tower's OST was already a massive banger, Unfortunately, the game's music does not loop as properly as I would like for it to, but you know, of course, it's a demo. You gotta give it a bit of leeway. I'm sure once the actual game comes out, it'll loop properly. In fact, I've actually heard people who have made the song loop properly, and it's very, very good. Anyways, all of the little toppings, or I guess treats, s'mores, I'm not really sure what you'd call them. I'm sure they have an official name on the wiki that I'll have to look up in a second. But basically, as you can see, they all take the form of little treats, and they all taunt with you. They move with you, and they are very adorable. I love them all. Also, the name of this room is Had a Joke But Still Working on It, which is pretty funny considering this entire level's aesthetic is construction site. I just ignored another enemy right there who leaves a little trail of goop after you kill them, which is a little bit different from the banana monkeys that they had sort of in the first level of Pizza Tower, but it does a wonderful job of giving it its own aesthetic. Like I said, this game is a masterclass in being a fan game that manages to have its own distinct identity while simultaneously paying tribute to the thing it's being inspired from. This S'mores Night pretty much functions like the Cheese Nights from Pizza Tower. I do not remember any of the names from that game. I'll have to just display them live. Okay, so got a bit of an update for you. So, the cheese slimes of Pizza Tower have now become gum slimes for Sugary Spire. And also the Nights, which were originally just called Fork Nights, are now S'more Nights, which honestly are a pretty smart name for it. I don't know why I just took the time out of my day to go look this up, because, I mean, then it kind of just spends half an hour on the wiki, which is, you know, something I like to do. And also check this out. BAM! Counter! The animations in this game are just legitimately awe-inspiring. Like, look at this. Oh, well, okay, well, that's why you gotta be careful. And also, look at Pete Sill doing the freaking... They're doing the freaking meme pose every time they get hit. It's hilarious. I will gladly take the 3 damage if it means we get to see the funny meme pose. Another important aspect that I haven't shown off is you'll notice that right now Pizza has a bunch of electricity going around him. Well, if you perform a super taunt after getting a combo of 10, or well, sorry, if you perform a taunt after getting a combo of 10, you'll perform a super taunt, which basically is a screen wipe. So yeah, very, very fun to use. However, generally it's not going to be that useful in game. Well, I mean, not to say that it's not useful, especially when you have a lot of enemies on your back. However, generally speaking, its speedrunning performances are where its main uses come in. That being that if your combo's about to die down, you can basically use it to get rid of a bunch of enemies you wouldn't normally be able to reach, which, especially in this game and even in the original Pizza Tower, was a massive time saver and making it a really, really useful feature. Sort of a risk-reward type scenario. Anyways, here's the final secret room of the level. Very, very easy, and also contains a giant slice of cake. Should have timed that better. No. Okay, wait, no, still got it. Yep. All right, there we go. And coming through this next area. Like I said, I'm trying to take this a lot slower than normal. Like, I'm used to playing Pizza Tower very, very quickly. In fact, I've done some light speed runs of it just because I found the game to be really fun. But like, yeah, no, I'll try to keep this a lot slower. And as soon as I say that, unfortunately, we have hit our first gummy bear, which means it's about time for Sugar Rush to start. And it's about time for us to see the reason why this game has a very heavy emphasis on speed. Starting off with Sugar Rush, we have to immediately run back to the start. If you fail to hit this timer, a new enemy will spawn in the main villain of the game, aka Conehead. His name's actually Coneball, but don't worry, I'm still going to mess it up so much that we can turn it into a drinking game. Instead of Pizza Face, Conehead will actually perform something a little bit different. Whereas Pizza Face in Pizza Tower would kind of just home in on you and wait for you to and basically just slowly kill you while giving you the chance to escape. Coneface is gonna take his time with it. No, Coneface is gonna actively start sending missiles your way, start threatening you by circling you, and even... well, I call them missiles. They're actually more like little projectiles. And also drain your score as quickly as possible. And every time you get hit, it drains your score more and more, until eventually Conehead just kind of decides to pull a Miracle Matter and just spike you and kill you instantly and boot you from the level. This is the only way that you can actually die in Pizza Tower, as every other enemy in the game obviously will just knock you back and make you lose points. There's no HP system in this game, so you obviously don't have that much to worry about. Obviously, you're not going to be worried about conserving HP or anything like that until this point where you're just kind of worried about speedrunning and getting to the end. And by the way, speaking of getting to the end, look at the backgrounds for this place. They have just completely gone demented. Like, I swear, the artist just went all out for these escape scene backgrounds, and you're expected to just run through them all. You're not even gonna notice half of these other than just the complete chaos of this land. Oh man, like, legitimately, this is some of the greatest stuff. Even better in some smaller details, all of the pizza toppings have actually changed their design somewhat. They've changed their idle animations, like, they're actively going through and, like, panicking about the fact that, you know, you only have 28 seconds to make it and you're about to get to the end of the level. But don't worry, obviously I'm not too worried about it because, you know, exit's right here. We won! What a wonderful expression. Immediately next door over to our first level is this little changing station where you can set your color palettes to a couple of pre-selected things. You have Familiar Gremlin, aka the Noid's original color scheme, as well as Massacre, which I assume is supposed to be Peppino's color scheme, considering the only real difference is just that his skin is more tan. I will be going with the Noid's classic theme, because why not? It may as well recreate the funny little... Anyways, level 2, Cotton Town. I'm gonna let you just appreciate the music here for a second, because it's legitimately amazing. This game's soundtrack slaps so hard. I love Cotton Town so much. Legitimately, I think Cotton Town is probably one of the best levels in the entire demo, and just on the music alone, it's great, but like the background, the aesthetic, the overall theming of it, this does a wonderful job of basically being the amazing second level that was like... I mean, Pizza Tower had Pizzascape, obviously, but I mean, Sugary Spire has Cotton Town, and Cotton Town is just as good. Also, I love the funny animation that whenever Pizza picks up a key, they just eat it. It's awesome. My goodness. Anyways, immediately left of the door, we have another secret room. Here, I'm gonna go and show off how useful the... Oh, no. And I missed it. Unfortunately, after you clear a secret room for the first time, all of the goodies in it despawn once you leave, meaning you can't just come back and pick it up whenever you want, which is unfortunate because it means that I could not get that giant donut back. Coping and seething. Look at the backgrounds. You literally only see these things for like 2 seconds because you're more focused on the platforming mode. They just do such a good job of it. Anyways, coming over here to this little cotton stand, we get one of our first transformations. This is Cotton Pizza. Simply put, instead of a grab, you have a little dash feature. Also, you have the ability to slowly float down, and you even have a double jump. And if you press down, you can go into a little side like this. Normally, you would fall through these little cotton clouds, but now you can stand on them just fine. Pizza can also just... Oh, well... Okay, that's strange. I thought for whatever reason that you could just walk through blocks without having to dash, but no, I guess I was wrong on that. Oh, there it is. You can actually hold shift to go faster and run through objects and things like that. Obviously, be careful about getting hit and things like that, because if you get hit, you will immediately come out of your transformation. Luckily, there's another one right here, so we didn't have to worry. Coming over to the right, we have little frog toads, and there we go, made up for the last one. Yep, that's the very easy secret room. The secret rooms, as we progress through the game, will get harder and harder. However, for now, they are basically just going to be simple one and done, like, go over here, do a simple platforming challenge, and then you'll get a bunch of extra points, which I believe they're necessary to get the S rank. I don't know. I know that in Pizza Tower, you had to get all the toppings and secret rooms for the P rank, although I'm not entirely sure if it's there for this. Another thing I should also bring up is the combo timer, because normally... Oh, nice idle animation. Normally in Pizza Tower, you had to actively keep your combo timer up for the entire level if you wanted to get the P rank. Obviously, P ranks don't exist, and you don't need it to get the S rank here either. So luckily, there's a bit of an extra leeway with this. However, I will say, don't go actively looking for any of the leaks, because I know that some of the future builds of this game have been leaked and everything, but I do know that the devs have actively discussed the fact that they've pretty much redesigned every level to be more P-rank friendly, or at least I hope they redesigned it to be more P-rank friendly, because I'm gonna be real here, not all of these levels are P-rank friendly. I think probably the key example for this would be two of the next two levels coming up, because I have actually been able to quote-unquote P-rank these levels on my own just from replaying them, specifically Cotton Town and the entryway. However, I have not been able to do it with the next two levels, mostly because there's just long gaps of time where nothing is happening. So, obviously, I'm very hyped to try and P-rank these levels whenever they do come out in the official game. I know they're not planning on making any more public builds outside of this one, so obviously we're just gonna have to work off of what we have now, but still very hyped for future parts. Cannot wait to experience them. Anyways, here we have the second half of the level, which is the Cotton Town Clock Tower, and listen to how intense this theme gets. Cotton Town's Clock Town theme, combined with the fact that we just got off of another amazing song, it makes this one of the best levels in the game. As well as a pretty unique transformation, yeah. It's not technically the fastest thing in the world, and honestly, maybe some speed aspects of it could be improved, but you know what? I personally think the Cotton transformation is already pretty good, and mixed with the fact that Clock Tower is just generally well liked, or well, I generally like the Clock Tower, not only because it's very fun considering this just combines it with Cotton Town's Clock Tower is such a massive departure from how Cotton Town was beforehand that it's just, oh man, this game does so many fun things. And what's very interesting about that is that Pizza Tower had about 5 worlds. This game has approximately 3, or at least that's the current estimate from what the devs have said. What's very interesting about that is that because they have less worlds, it means that they're allowed to combine more concepts, such as this. They effectively combined their Clock Tower level with their Cotton level, and what it makes for is a very interesting combination of mechanics, allowing them to more thoroughly explore them than in Pizza Tower, which, to be fair, Pizza Tower also did a pretty good job at exploring a lot of its concepts, so not trying to harp on Pizza Tower for that, but man, if this game doesn't provide an amazing breath of fresh air. Anyways, here you can see that I have to use my double jump in order to clear the gap. Coming over here for the Cotton transformation, and just, man, like, the OST of this game is just legitimately awesome. Like, there isn't a second where I'm not going to be praising the OST for this game, because it's just pretty good. No, not pretty good. Like, this stuff's majestic. That's pretty much where I'll leave it at. But anyways, going over here, here's where the platforming starts to get a little bit more complicated, because not only do you have these boost platforms which facilitate you going fast, you also have to worry about trying to go up slopes while crouch sliding and accidentally going down. You'll have to crouch, jump, and then head into the next room. Yeah, you gotta perform a bit of a platforming combo right there. And anyways, those will be all of the toppings. Just start taunting with all of them. Have a bit of fun with it. We've got the time. It's not like Sugar Rush hasn't started yet, although the name of this room is Berry Break Room, so not sure how much time we're going to have before that starts. Also, take a little note of these little cherry things right here. These little buried cherries sticking up out of the ground. They're going to be important for something in a second. And by a second, I mean right now, because as soon as we hit Sugar Rush, all of them will immediately become active. They are cherry bombs, and they will explode if they make contact with you. And their explosions, while not obviously going to kill you, they will stun you for a pretty decently long amount of time. So obviously, try not to get hit by them. Luckily, you're pretty much guaranteed to kill them if you manage to run into them while at tier 3 or 4 speed, so luckily you don't have that much to worry about. And also, just take a look at the backgrounds again. Look at what they did to this place. Oh my gosh, it's just gone completely mental up here. And get that, okay. Yeah, don't feel too bad if you end up having to miss that. It's very easy to. And then go right here, and bam, last secret. Oh, that's great. I don't think I've missed anything, so we should be good on that front. And anyways, now the game's gonna go and kick us outside of the clock tower. Or, well, we have to go on a pretty long fall. Anyways, now just for the part where we start rushing back to the top, that was the key room, and now we're all the way back to this room. And as you can see, look at that clock, though. Look at that. Look at that. That looks disturbing. This game is awesome. The art direction of this place is insane. Oh, goodness. And look at that. Everything is burning in the background. Things are getting destroyed. You couldn't really see it that well, but if you didn't really see it that well, but in the entryway level or the construction site, like, there were giant bears just sort of attacking the entire thing. Every single Sugar Rush is just a complete mess of, like, either things burning or things getting destroyed or things getting, like, completely corrupted by, like, this evil sense. And, like, trust me, it gets really intense once you start, like, getting down to the wire with it. And this game even does some things that even Pizza Tower didn't originally do, so... Or, well, maybe Pizza Tower did do it and then just scrapped it in later builds. However, you might notice that not only is the screen occasionally flashing red, but also that there's minor screen tilt. Yeah, that's right, the game has screen tilt built into the chase sequences. For no other reason than making every single scene just a little bit more tense and a little bit more disturbing. But look at that! Look at that! My goodness, the background is just so wild and chaotic. It really helps sell the idea that these are places just sort of like... that these places are literally falling apart and going insane because of what you've just done. And, like, yeah, Pizza Tower had a bit of this, especially with, one of the last levels in the game, which I'm not going to spoil for obvious reasons, but yeah, I know, this game does a wonderful job of making your escape sequences feel really intense, especially with the screen tilt that it does. Look at that! And even the little TV, you'll probably notice this in the last two levels, but, like, the TV just goes wild, too. Like, it starts, every so often it'll have occasional flashes to, like, eyeballs or, like, goop monsters, along with Pizza just panicking for his life trying to get out of there. Because, yeah, no, seriously, nothing's funnier than watching the anxious Pizza / Candyman get really, really anxious over nearly dying. Anyways, moving on to our next level, Molasses Swamp, home of Molass. Hell yeah. Also, can I just say that the enemy death sound effects are hilarious. You've probably been hearing a couple of them, but yeah, this entire game just gives me a nice warm smile. Anyways, welcome to Molasses Swamp. The song for this level is definitely more toned down and mundane. However, I honestly think that it's just as good. Obviously, this one's gotta be a lot more slower paced, because, you know, it's a swamp level, it'd be a bit weird if it suddenly switched to, like, an EDM track or something like that, but you know what? Again, it works so well. It's so calming and nice. The people who did the OSTs just did a phenomenal job with it, and they should really feel proud of themselves for this. And the best part is that, again, this is the demo. Imagine how awesome some of the other levels are gonna sound once they're out. Anyways, this room over here is an example of one where you kind of have to get good at the whole, of the whole scooter flip trick, because otherwise you would have to crawl your way back out of it. It would take a lot longer to sort of get through that area if you weren't able to bike flip. Slight little secret right here, super jump upwards, and you'll get that. Here also introduces a new enemies, the Night Bananas, which I'm not entirely sure what their Pizza Tower equivalent would be, but they're really tricky once they start charging, but if you can catch them beforehand, then they're a lot easier to deal with. Over here is actually Molasses Swamp's main mechanic, or, well, one of two mechanics, and the second one you've also just seen. Sticky platforms that basically act sort of like the cheese from Pizza Tower, where they stick to every surface, and also prevent you from climbing up their walls. Yeah, so they are a bit trickier. Not impossible to climb up, but you will have to wall jump a lot more. And here's the second mechanic, Molasses Geyser! Yep, these things are really fun additions that pretty much all they do is just act as a little way for you to get from one point to another. But damn if they aren't fun to just chain like this. It's not even like that deep of a mechanic or anything. It's just like you ground pound and they make you go upwards. But that's still a good enough mechanic for me to just be able to enjoy it at base. Like, I mean, not good enough for me to be able to master it, but you know, it's the thought that counts. That room's just so satisfying to chain it 5 times. Is it unnecessary? Probably. Will I still do it every single time? Of course I will. I'm just gonna go ahead and just sort of speed dash through this one. This molasses water is a bit interesting, because if you fall into it, you just kind of get respawned back over there, assuming that it's supposed to be more of a bottomless pit of molasses rather than just a normal one. Anyways, here you're gonna have to wall jump past the cheese walls a bit. And moving onward. Anyways, here comes a really fun part of the level, because you get to just hold right and dash! Tier 4 speed boost! Oh, that's really fun. And I love all of the camera effects that they added to this game. I mean, we already saw the screen tilt. Now the screen is just zooming in to show off the fact that, like, to sort of emphasize these really speedy movements. And here, what we're about to notice is that the screen actually zooms out to emphasize these speedy movements. Yeah. The screen will just casually zoom out to give you a whole view of the area and really just emphasize the scale of these locations. And again, just gives you further appreciation for simultaneously the art direction and I suppose the music direction too, yeah, because like I said, everyone on this team just did a fantastic job of replicating Pizza Tower. And you know what, I'm just gonna sit here and appreciate this a little bit more while listening to the music, because look at this. Oh man, look at the aesthetic and the color palette. The color palette of this game is super nice too. They did a great job with the really managed to hit home the aesthetic of like sort of wacky cartoony vibe while simultaneously giving it a much more mundane feel, because obviously it's not as chaotic as Pizza Tower. It's obviously going to be a bit more refined. It's much more sweet, of course. I think I already made that joke. I'm going to stop with the sweet sugar puns. Coming over here, we have another secret room. This one is just chaining up another mechanic that I didn't really get the chance to explain. It's these, I guess you would call them flying frogs. They function very similarly to the penny pinchers from Pizza Tower, where all they do, they pick you up into a little candy ball and then they throw you upwards, which is very adorable. And look at the little screen that Pizza goes into. Oh, look at that. That's another great thing. It's that TV. You wouldn't think that the TV adds much other than just being live Pizza reaction, but like, no, it does legitimately add to the aesthetic of just how chaotic and frantic this game can get, along with both selling the personality of the character as well as helping you to get immersed into it. Because let's be real here, Pizza 9 times out of 10 is feeling the exact same thing that you're feeling. That is probably the hallmark of a good playable character. Anyways, it's time for Sugar Rush, and I will admit that Goodness. I will admit that these frogs can be a bit janky sometimes, because if you jump while they're doing it, if you jump while they have you in their grasp, they will automatically fling you back outside. Or, well, you'll automatically get out of the transformation, which obviously is a bit... Okay, well, if I get an A rank, at least I know why. Oh my gosh! Guys, I swear I don't normally suck at this. Oh my goodness. There! I am just awful at this. I don't know why. I just did a test recording like an hour ago for this game. Oh man, I guess... I don't know. Maybe it's just... the effect of playing live makes it a lot harder to work, I guess. What did he call it? The Let's Play curse? Yeah, it's the Let's Play curse. But whatever. Anyways, we're making decent progress out of here. Frog hop. Oh, they're called frog hops? I probably should have looked that up beforehand. Anyways, this next section of the room is very fun because you basically just have to go through a slight little loop. Pick up a key. I love the little animation that Pizza does of just eating the key because it's made out of, I assume, gingerbread or something. Oh, goodness. Anyways, this room is one of the examples of the J, so what you want to do, don't jump. When you bust through the wall, whatever you do, don't jump, otherwise you will cancel out of it early and you will fall into a pit and accidentally redo the room. So basically just don't jump for that section. And here's another bit that's a bit hard to navigate. You want to do that. Yeah, here we go. Turn yourself around, go upward, dash downward, immediately turn around again, and then wall jump off of the 2 walls. That is how you get through that room. It's very tricky, and you will lose a lot of time there. Makes you wonder how lap 2 would work, considering how little time you already have to beat most of this section. Anyways, before you go through this next area, the last secret room is just hidden here for some reason, and unfortunately Pizza Time's still going, Pizza Time, no. Sugar Rush is still going, so we gotta actually do this really quickly. Is that the phobia from Amori? Anyways, that's the last secret of this area, so now we just gotta focus on getting out of here and hopefully getting enough points for an S rank, because unfortunately, we're still down a couple of points from that, so obviously we're gonna have to focus on A, not taking damage, and B, trying to maximize our efficiency when it comes to... Obviously, I'm not doing a very good job right now, but, you know, maximize our efficiency with not taking damage, as well as just trying to pick up some, you know, loose items and things like that. whatever gets us that fabled S rank, because obviously if I don't get the S rank, then I'm gonna have to restart it, and which, I mean, I'm sure people wouldn't mind, because then they'd get to see me basically speedrun this level, and I'd like to speedrun this level. This level, I mean, to be fair, I prefer speedrunning the first 2 levels, but this level ain't bad to speedrun either, and oh boy, here we go. Yep, this is the song that only plays when, well, it's supposed to only normally play when you have a minute left, but of course it doesn't loop properly, so you're just going to have to stick for hearing it a little bit earlier than normal. Anyways, what we can do to gain a bit of extra points over here is just loop backwards. And there we go, we got our S rank. And time's still ticking up, and we win. All right, there we go. No sweat. Something else that I neglected to mention was that if you actually press upward, you can cycle through a couple of different hats. However, you will notice that some of the hats are actually locked off to us. I believe the hats are based on your rank, question mark? All they really do is just provide a little aesthetic choice of having something to float above you. This one is based off of the construction site level. This one is Cotton Town, obviously. This one is Molasses Swamp. I completed Molasses Swamp, didn't even meet Molass, and all I got was this hat. And then finally, the last level, which appears to be a cave hat with earbuds on it. And then, of course, your 100% completion hat. Or, well, I assume that might just be beating the game hat. Anyways, here we have the last level, the Sugar Shack Mines. Or Sugar Shack Mines. I don't know how I got the shock in there somehow. But anyways, this is more or less just a... Consider this level a sort of test of your abilities in terms of speed running. Or, well, not in terms of speed running, but in terms of how well you've mastered the basic controls, because this level introduces a lot more hazards than in terms of positive benefits. One of the first things here are the Swedish fish, which I assume is their names. I will not be calling them anything differently. They function very similarly to the anchovies of Pizza Tower, in which they simply dash at you. And I believe that's all they do. Yeah, that's pretty much all they do. Anyways, coming over here, you can super jump up here, and this will be your first secret room. Frick, I just completely missed the talking point for this. Yeah, I did miss a bit of exploration earlier. Luckily, it's not that big of a deal. This secret room is a little bit more awkward than the rest, and this is where the secret rooms start to get a little bit janky, unfortunately. So, normally you're supposed to be able to jump out of that. However, the way that I prefer getting out of this is just... Well, okay, well, I almost did it there. What you want to do is... Yeah, there you go. Yeah, it's easier than going through the entire thing, and to be fair, maybe your rank is only determined by you being able to just enter the secret room and not based on how much stuff you pick up, but remember, this is Demo Town. I'm pretty sure your entire score is being determined by your point score. It's coming over here. Here, you can see a lot of the gummy blocks that are just sort of activated and showing our eventual escape route, which, again, is another reason why I love the Pizza Tower level design. It's all despite it basically being a straight line, it all manages to be interconnected. Anyways, we can see that we have donut signs, and here we have a gimmick from the original Pizza Tower, now recolored for this game's use. This is Rose, or Rosette. Basically Noisette from the original game, but brought into, obviously, Sugary Spire. Also canonically Pete Cell's wife. Noisette's gimmick is that whenever you walk up to her, she will give you a box of donuts. You give this donut to a gnome, and then they explode and clear the path for you. They don't die. The entire level's gimmick sort of revolves around you coming back to it a lot, but before I can finish explaining that, here we have a minecart section. That was the minecart section. It's relatively simple. You just jump in order to avoid things, and of course stay on the upper path at all times. Or, well, not on the upper path at all times, but obviously just don't fall off the tracks and you'll be good. You can go pretty fast with it, but it does kind of slow to a halt once you finish driving, but you can actually extend it a bit by just jumping, which I honestly find to be really fun. Yeah, this donut delivery actually extends throughout the entire level. You will find gnomes scattered throughout the entire level. In fact, there was actually a gnome at the beginning of the level that you will eventually have to get back to. You don't have to do that right now. In fact, I'd recommend not doing it right now, because it's not really how I believe the level is intended to be played. Not to say that there's, like, an intentional way of playing the game, but, like, I feel like this is probably one of the places where they sort of had an idea in mind for how you're supposed to do it, because, again, it would be pretty weird if they just had this entire level be open-ended and you could hypothetically just skip to the end, which, I mean, not saying that that's something you can't do. I mean, Pizza Tower did it for one of its levels, but, like, I mean, even then, it's still technically a straight line with all of the collectibles being set to, like, off-paths and things like that. Anyway, here's the second topping that we'll have to get for this level. I believe the rest of them are kept behind, the rest of them are going to be kept behind donut barriers, and obviously we want all of them, so we're going to have to keep coming back to Rosette for a lot of them. And I love the confused look that Pete Cell gives when he, like, licks the donuts for a second. He's just like, what am I supposed to do with these? Yeah. I wonder if after this game, Pete Cell will just be absolutely sick of sugar and things like that, or I hope that this game ends with Pete Cell having a salad or something. It would be hilarious, honestly. Anyways, coming over here, instead of having to walk all the way back, instead the game creates a new platform for us to just be able to instantly get back to Rosette with. Convenience. And also, just to help out a little bit, the game even places some extra candies and things like that so that you don't have to worry about your rank going down. This is the only time that it does this, unfortunately, so I can't give it entire credit. In fact, you'll see in just a second. And also, there's the only other topping in this level that isn't locked behind a gnome wall. Or, well, yeah, garden. Yeah, those are garden gnomes. I'm pretty confident those are garden gnomes. Anyways, just completely destroy all of them. Look at the design of the background. It's so detailed and nice and gorgeous. They just went all out with this. Man, I've got to say something other than just praising it. Otherwise, people are never going to hear the end of it. Anyways, here we have the next room. Run away. Make sure to... Really quickly, I'm going to show off a little glitch that happens here. So, if you enter this room and then immediately hit the minecart, you will actually fall through the rails of the minecart section. So, do be a little careful to jump as soon as you start it. Anyways, that was... Well, that was a train section, but not really important anymore. Anyways, here's our last secret. Here's our last secret room. Let's just get to it. That hacksaw is probably the only thing that you've really got to worry about. Luckily, there's another redirectional TV over there if you do have the need to retime it. Oh, okay, well, I could have absolutely timed that better. Oh, well, I got free Swedish fish. And super jump right there, mostly just because I don't like dealing with the enemies in this room. And... Alright, how am I gonna time this? Yep. Anyways, as you can see, this loops us right back to the donut room, where unfortunately they don't spawn any more candies for us to use, so we do kind of have to take the L to our full combo on that, which... Does that make this impossible? I haven't seen anyone full combo run with S rank of this, basically P rank this, so I'm not sure if it's possible to do it in this demo. Maybe it is, and it's just really tight or something, but I'm not entirely sure. Luckily, just to help out a ranker bit, the game helpfully provides that little side room right there. And toss ourselves into the void. Yep, here's the very dark cave. Gee, I wonder if it's in this room. Just go and jump over that gap. Oh. And coming right into this second to last minecart section is the train immediately hitting the bear, and so now we have to rush out of here quickly and fast. I just said the same thing twice. Redundancy is redundancy. Anyways, luckily you can jump over that and thankfully skip the little pickaxe section right there, which is very annoying, but luckily you can just use the minecart destruction animation to give yourself some invincibility frames. Anyways, let's go ahead and send ourselves over here. Oh. You know what, screw this. What? There we go. I was wondering why that wasn't working for a second. Oh man. Anyways, we're just gonna continue dashing our way out of here. I believe this is the end of the room, but I don't want to chance it. Obviously not the end of the actual lab, but, you know, the end of the room. And Banana Knights. I hate the Banana Knights. I mean, they're not the most annoying enemy in this game. Or, well, no, they are probably the most annoying enemy in this game, but that's only because the pickles don't exist. And the Great Train Escape. Gee, I wonder what happens in this one. The train is coming! The train is coming! Luckily, if you just hold shift, you don't have to worry about it ever catching up to you or anything like that. And of course, break through some of these blocks. If the pickaxes catch up to you, just jump, you'll be fine. And luckily the train breaks through that for us, so we don't have to waste our donut. Not that we really had not that there was really a gnome over there to waste said donut on. Anyways, we can see that all of the little train houses, I guess, are coming to life and trying to attack us. This one's a lot more mundane with its changes, but still, again, like, damn, did you know that Pizza Tower was gonna be a horror game? I mean, this game does an excellent job on giving that vibe with its backgrounds and just how dark everything is. It's wild. Anyways, with about 2 minutes remaining and not much of it dedicated to actually talking about the level itself, we did it! I feel so bad for having S-ranked everything on my first try. They boo you out of the room for that! Why? Hold on a minute. This demo. The game, as far as I can tell, is still in development. The directors have even come out on the comment sections of some videos talking about the fact that they have in fact been making good progress on it, and of course there is also leaks. However, I have to respectfully recommend that no one actually go looking for those leaks, because I will obviously just kind of respect the developers' intentions on not only showing off what they actually want to show off, but I do know, based off of what I have seen, that a lot of the issues that I have in regards to this demo have been addressed in future versions. Like, if the movement speed gets a little bit better, the level design is tweaked a little bit to facilitate more, like, I guess, speedrunning moments and, you know, just general quality of life stuff that Pizza Tower had that this game lacks, I think that this game is legitimately going to be a great contender for basically just being the sequel to Pizza Tower, which I understand is a lot of, I guess, pressure. I don't want to accidentally heap on a lot of excess pressure onto the developers. Again, these are all real people at the end of the day. You gotta be careful about that stuff. But legitimately, I think that they have made a wonderful product. A product so wonderful that it not only scratched my Pizza Tower addiction for the moment, it also got me to upload after like 4 months of nothing. Anyways, what do you guys think? Should I cover the actual Pizza Tower? Would you guys be interested in me playing the actual Pizza Tower? Should I cover the full game once it actually does come out? I probably will at this point, because honestly, this is fun.
Oh, by the way, yeah, so for anyone listening, yes, I do know that Merge covered the game already. I don't care. I've had this video in my backlog for over a month now, and I don't care that he beat me to this game by a mere 3 days. Meanwhile, it took me almost half a year and an entire semester of college to get back, and I didn't even do it for you. I did it for Scott the Waz. I will delay Broken Cycles as much as I want. Okay, yeah, no, I'm joking. Regular uploads in regards to all my storyline and animation content will definitely be coming soon. Got something super cool in the works, so stick around if you're interested in all that. I've been Mountain Dash 1. See ya.